Okay. Howdy do. Today we're gonna be reading, Moldir's Anecdote. In the Shadow of the Mountains. Uh, I really like this character. Uh, and I'm looking forward to reading this. It's just that, like I've been saying with the last new, anecdote series, if I come over here, and you guys already know what I'm going to probably talk about, they shifted from this cinema type series to portrayal series, and it just, presentation wise, is pretty lackluster for me. I don't know about you guys, but uh, so going into the new Moldier story, I'm not as excited as I wanted to be because of that aspect. But yeah, because if I click into it too, you see it takes it to like this. It's like that's how all the new ones look like, and I'm not. It's not my favorite presentation. I feel like they could have. I like the way it was before, and I feel like it's gonna be like this for a good while. Not gonna lie, but who knows? Maybe, hopefully one day it'll change back. But anyway, let's get started. Enough negativity. Let's go straight into it and see how the story actually is. And actually, I mean, again, like before I actually start, the stories are still good. It's just the presentation is what I'm talking about for the new anecdotes. But uh, besides that, let's get started. Uh, Horseback Riding Valley outside the ancient city of Kanum. Let me see. Along the riverbank, young riders grip their reins as they make their way toward the village garrison. At the head of the column rides a lieutenant on a red-brown Okolteki? Tech? Teak? What is this? It is said that the Okolteki Teak carries a... Just, yeah. Again, if I, like, mispronounce something, you guys can enlighten me on how, you know, teach me on how to pronounce. I always, like, look up words and, like, how to pronounce them and whatnot. Uh, but yeah, I'm definitely butchering this. Carries the blood of the first horses. Oh, they're stubborn with a wild spirit, but once broken in, their loyalty is unshakable. In the east, old tales claim they could run for hundreds of miles in a single day until their sweat turned red as blood. That sounds really cool. The lieutenant. While Igor fights on the front, his eldest child has been placed on another task. Someone has to keep things working at the rear. It's a promotion and all, but name and an expression of absolute trust. And behind her, the slanting sun sweeps westward, hanging alone at the edge of the earth. Snow peaks rise with solemn majesty, catching the late fall afterglow before casting their shadows downward. The horsemen ride through this ancient dusk, winding their way back toward the garrison. Their luck has run thin today. Several soldiers lost their way, and the rendezvous has been set an hour late to give them time to rejoin the column. Out of consideration for her new recruits, young soldiers newly arrived to this unfamiliar land, she holds out just a little longer. And her fortune's turn as Lieutenant Moldir prepares to send riders out to search. Her stragglers finally appear on the hillside, overdue but unharmed. Pick it up. We need to be back before nightfall. Is everyone accounted for? She lifts the reins, and her horse rises before breaking into a few quick strides, circling back along the flank of the column toward the rear. 6, 7, 8. She counts each rider, making certain each man and mount match. No soldier left behind, and no horse allowed to lose its way home. Theodore, what are you carrying in those side pouches? She brings her horse to a halt beside one of the soldiers, turns the mount, and rides in step with the young soldier pointing to the crude burlap pouches hanging from his saddle. Picked up a few fine catches this afternoon. Nothing beats hunting at this time of the year. The soldier loosens the pouch and proudly shows his treasures to his commanding officer. Be prepared. We could be sent to the front line any time. Haha, yeah, I'm itching to go. The young soldier laughs, glancing back at his comrades. We've been waiting for it. This is how all young men should live, on horseback, rifle in hand, carving out glorious legends on the battlefield. Aye, aye. His headstrong words earn a cheer from the others. Just watch. We'll pick off the enemy one by one like hunting rabbits with that rifle. Seems you're a decent enough shot. Naturally, no one brings in more game than I do. Every shot bags a kill with me. I never miss. The lieutenant presses into her stirrup, draws close to Fyodor, then snatches the rifle slung over his shoulder.
I don't think so.
We didn't have any shooting drills today. I did not give you permission to fire your weapon. With that, she changes her tone, confiscates the weapon, and quickly pulls back onto her own mount. Order must be maintained, Fyodor. If you don't know when to pull the trigger, you'll hand the gun over to me. I don't want this to happen again. She raises her voice, issuing the order to everyone on the line. Drop whatever you've hunted, all of you. Yes, ma'am. With the confiscated rifle in hand, she urges her horse forward, turns to the head of the column, and turns to deliver a command. I understand your enthusiasm, but orders come before everything. Discipline above all else. Right. Now get rid of everything you weren't carrying when you left camp. As the last word leaves her mouth, she nudges her boot against her horse's flank. The mount catches the signal at once, its pace quickening until it surges into a gallop. She grips the rein with both hands and leans forward, rising and falling like a wave, in time with the occultiques gallop. Keep up. Right into the front, the lieutenant leans into the wind and glances back. Here we go, need some water. The riders who had been idling along the river earlier are now picking up speed to keep pace with her. Among them are both the so-called rebels withdrawn from Antarctica, and the young recruits the admiral has been gathered since returning to this era. Few of the former remain, while the latter, like Fyodor, make up the bulk of the column. Hooves hammer the earth, their numbers causing the earth to tremble around them, holding a tight formation as they approach the garrison. The lieutenant rides a good 7 or 8 lengths ahead, watching the line behind her as she scolds herself beneath her breath. Give them a little more time. We'll make them soldiers soon enough. A stray wave of nostalgia rises up in her chest. Old memories drift around her like ghosts. She closes her eyes to empty her thoughts and fall into rhythm with the horse beneath her. For a girl born deep on the inland steeps steppes of Asia, all of this comes easy. With so much of her time wrapped up in military duties and camp chores, the chance to ride feels like a long-awaited rest. It's a fleeting and precious rest, letting her soul run free in the rush of the evening wind. Make the most of it, boys. Last one back to camp is on stable duty with Fyodor. She calls out the command, and somewhere behind her a loud wail rises, chased by bursts of laughter. The horses keep their pace, the sun falling lower as the group nears the village where they're stationed. Tap repeatedly to light the fire. Oh, this is one that gives you multiple endings. Oh. Military camp outside the ancient city of Iconium. I don't know if I should put my camera right here. Their camp sits in a riverside village beyond the ancient city of Iconium, not far from the ruins where her unit has set up camp. By the time the lieutenant returns with her riders, the sun has only just dipped behind the peak. For the locals, that means night has already fallen. Make sure she's fed. She is the first to step down from the stirrup, offering a long and reassuring pat to the occultique that has carried her all day. After a gentle reminder, she hands the reins to the stable boy. Soon enough, her men dismount and gather around her, chatting idly over the day's training in their detour. Still talking and laughing, she makes her way toward the fire-lit courtyard. Is that so? Go have Dr. Yelena take a look. If you can still walk, jump and carry things. It probably isn't anything serious. She lifts the new recruit's sleeve, revealing the mark left from his fall off the horse earlier in the day. Nothing serious. At your age, I hit the ground far worse and far more often. With that, she pats the young man on the shoulder and sends them all off, walking alone toward a courtyard fenced in by earthen walls. Fire represents the villagers' welcome, a sign of light and good intent. People gather around it, passing tea, dried fruit, and warm smiles. Here, all is calm and quiet, far from war and turmoil. The lieutenant approaches the village elder. The aging man meets her with a grin. Drink, traveler from afar. May the flame light your path. Thank you. The lieutenant takes a bowl of milk wine in both hands and finishes it with a single gulp. She recognizes the flavor, a taste of her childhood, long before she donned a soldier's uniform. In the safety of her grandmother's home, a life that was simple and carefree. And after leaving the frozen wastes of Antarctica and returning to an unfamiliar age, she has taken on a new assignment, traveling to the far eastern highlands and river valleys to take command of a newly reformed unit, with orders to make them ready for the battles ahead. I always forget that Moldir is from a different time, too. We staying here for a few days, sir. Thank you for taking us in. She takes a seat beneath the thick trunk of a desert poplar? Her eyes linger in the bonfire burning nearby. The blaze gives off a faint warmth even at this distance. The courtyard beyond, troops and the ever-hospitable villagers mingle and joke as they pass around milk wine, salted lamb, and thick stuffed sasma pastries. The fire's light creates a tiny patch of life in the still darkness. An island of peace in this age of war. We welcome our guests, as we always have, but tell me, what name should I give people when they ask who you are? A Xeno officer, an admiral's adjutant. Decision changes what is yet to come. We've come from further north. My father commands a unit there in the Don River region. All there? Ah, a hetman. As the elder speaks the title, he raises his pipe and pulls in a deep breath. Firelight spills across his lined, weathered face, tracing every crease and old scar. What's it called? Before I continue, yeah, there's multiple endings for this. There's like 2 endings, so I'm gonna do my like choices I would choose, and then I'll see if I could figure out how to. I think I actually have a thing on the side that'll guide me to, I guess, another ending. I think it shows it here. Let me see. Yeah, I have it over here on the side. I'll keep it there just in case. Yes, a hetman and a respected one. That's a fair way of putting it. My ancestors were fighters too. They came from far away, across the Western Sea and made their home here. Yes, I know. This is why I've come here. I seek your support, Elder. State your purpose plainly, to recruit more soldiers from her father's army and to strengthen their influence in the remote regions along their rear flank. The old man's eyes narrow, revealing a depth of wisdom behind his gaze. And what would you give us in return, officer? Protection? She named her terms with a steady, unguarded honesty. Father stationed her here so she could drum up support for the front lines and so she could win over every force that has not yet chosen to oppose them. Stone by stone, a citadel rises. Small gains become towering strength. The lieutenant understands this well. The battle roars in the west, then she rides east to gather allies. Our troops in Akanom, again, I'm like butcher, I'm probably messing that up big time, are more than enough to maintain peace in this region. Peace, simple, direct, and powerful. The young man holds a long silence, opening a shaking right hand as they laying the village before his far-traveled guest. This particular village has been built around a medieval citadel, which climbs up the mountainside, pressed tight against the slope, overlooking the pass along the river, moving east to west. It's a perfect choke point. When my ancestors mounted their horses and drew their curved blades, they were warriors. When they dismounted and donned their robes, they were merchants. From east to west, west to east, this is how we have lived for 20-odd centuries. We are friends to all who meet us. As he speaks, the old man waves someone over. A girl in her early teens comes at his gesture. her face glowing in the firelight like an unripe little orange. This is my last remaining granddaughter. Her brothers answered the call from the north and have gone far from here. I'm Lieutenant Moldir. I'm very pleased to meet you. Lieutenant rises and, following the local custom, touches her right cheek to the girl's and her left in a gesture of goodwill. The girl nods respectfully as she steps to her elder's side. If you wish, I will ready my finest horse for her and allow her to join you as one of your warriors? No, you just said she was your last granddaughter. The lieutenant's composure wavers for a moment. I did not expect you to refuse another woman in your company. The old man looks at the lieutenant with a long, knowing gaze. No, that isn't what I meant. I'm hoping to find more fighters of the right age here. Everyone in this village can trace their blood back to the same heroic ancestors. Her father and brothers have never brought shame upon us. The old man takes his granddaughter by the hand. You're just as good as those rowdy boys, aren't you? The young girl offers a silent nod. Ma'am, please take her along. Look at her, and let her fight at your side like a hawk. Faced with a sudden request, the lieutenant pauses, searching for a reply. The girl's eyes are like polished jade, green as the grass in spring. The lieutenant can't help thinking the girl belongs tending to a pasture, not fighting on a battlefield. Perhaps the life she has now would suit her better? Why would you? She looks toward the girl, and in this unfamiliar young face, she catches a fleeting glimpse of someone she once knew. Pastures and herds, their own childhood, and the peaceful life that is all this mere child knows. She should be holding a docile lamb, not lifting a rifle. I don't have many days left. The old man strokes his beard. Age has worn him down. He no longer even draw a bowstring. The vigor of his youth eroded like a wind-edged stone. He turns back to the guest beside him. The bonfire casts shadow of the village along the mountainside. In its glow, they seem to honor the ancient gods they've served for ages. Light, flame, and the good that stands against its eternal enemy. The trade roads have been cut off for years now, and no caravan bells have echoed through the valley for generations. The fortress built into the cliffside is a crumbling ruin, hewn like a sandcastle carved from red stone, slowly slipping out of time's remembrance. Peace. This is something we are all well acquainted with. Raises himself on his lapis lazuli cane and takes a step forward. But I also know the price of peace. That is why they listen to me, and why they will listen to those who come after me, the old man answers, his voice never rising above an even tone, like the wind softly whipping through the mountains. The sport you ask for will be yours. But first, I will like to know more about you, our visitors from far away. The flames reveal all. Come, let us speak by their light. Two soldiers, their caps and jackets off, walk toward them, and they see the village elder shaking hands with their commanding officer. Their smiles vanish. Pardon me, I'm not interrupting, am I? What is it? It's nothing really. We just wanted to... The young men glance at one another, rubbing the back of their necks, clearly unsure of how to proceed. Just wanted to ask if you wanted to dance with us. Oh. Let me refresh everything. It's an earnest, friendly invitation from the boys who just earlier were over by the fire, dancing arm in arm with the villagers. Oh, so that's what this is about. Lieutenant lets out a quiet laugh, covering her mouth before giving a small wave of her hand. We still have matters to discuss. I'll join you all later. Okay, but actually I have one more question, just a quick one. Speak. Girl over there just asked if I had the guts to kiss her, and I don't know what to do. His face goes beet red as he blurts out the word. She looks at him and laughs. He is her family and also an ace pilot who earned his merits in Antarctica. Where has your courage gone, soldier? You would fly under the jaws of death, but run from the lips of a pretty girl. Do you need my permission? Go on then. Don't keep her waiting. Yes, ma'am. After giving a comical, awkward salute, the soldiers trot off toward the crowd. She lets her smile fade, then turns to walk after the old man, heading toward the fire and coming to a stop beside the stacked logs. On the way over, the old man hands her an almond. Thank you. You're probably not used to the flavors this bitter, but we're quite fond of them here. Lieutenant holds the almond between her fingers and eats it. The flavor is sharper than she expected, upturning her face into a scowl, but she manages to swallow it. You're right about that. Bitterness clears the mind before the fire. We speak no lies. deeper understanding between us will serve our future cooperation well. When they reach the bonfire, the old man slips on a white cloth mask as if fearing his aging breath would profane their sacred flame. Lieutenant approaches the flame without a touch of hesitation, the rich, stark smell of smoke lingering on her nose and lips. Step closer, do not fear it. The flames will reveal the truth in your heart. What do you see? A courtyard in the pouring rain and the barrel of a gun. A girl on the horseback riding across the grasslands. Your decision changes what is yet to come. Dusk and a band of horses, they race across the grasslands that seem to stretch on forever, and a girl rides with them. I know that young rider. She was always like that, riding beyond the horizon, stopping only when her horse chose to rest, lifting her face to stare at the stars above. She wanted to become a scientist just like her mother, but fate had other ideas. In the end, she picked up a gun. Her hand moves to her sidearm, but before she even thinks about it, it's a gesture long since ingrained in her. We are nothing more than driftwood carried on the current. You're right. I see my past. Everything that made me who I am. Oh? Tap to glimpse into your heart. What, this? Oh, I was tapping the... the bullet in the farewell. Soon it drifts back into her memories, slowly oh, this is military camp at 1930, 100 hours. The lieutenant drifts back into her memories, slowly tracing her way through the past. Seizing the moment, she begins telling the old man a story about a girl she knows better than anyone. A girl no one else could ever know as well. When I was 16, I received 2 pieces of paper. Red and orange firelight washes over her face, while outside, its glow. People laugh and dance, fluttering through the shadows like butterflies, beating their wings toward another world. First told me that my parents were gone. The second, that I had a new father. The lieutenant murmurs the words to herself by the fire. Alright, let me see what it said again. No one ever asked what I thought. And back then, not one choice in my life was mine to make. Military camp outside of the ancient city of Kanom. She makes herself a little space by the fire and sits, left leg relaxed and bent, hands resting at her sides, vision locked on the burning embers. The old man stands beside her, listening in silence. I was his first child. No other soldier has remained at his side as long as I have. Some he took in after me, and some fought beside him long before I arrived, but few have made it all the way to now. That day, the admiral, my adoptive father... That's what I thought. I mean, I kind of, like, already had it in, like, just knew in my soul that they weren't biological father and daughter. That day, the Admiral, my adoptive father, took me to the Hall of Merit at headquarters. She picks up a dry twig and stirs the fire with it. Hall of Merit, Xeno Arms Academy. Solemn. Silent. They call it a memorial hall, a place that houses the deeds of the fallen. A soldier or commander, the fallen have all have a place there. Cold, metal, stone, and light. A far cry from the warm and living fire before her. I found my mother's and father's names there, my biological father. They sacrificed their lives for a worthy cause. Heroes and martyrs both. And I, she pauses waiting for the words to come, I am the child of martyrs, yet I find myself on a path I never could have dreamed of. A wry smile crosses her face, an acknowledgement of fate's cruel irony. Seeing their portraits, I felt a strange calm, hoping that one day I, too, could be there beside them. Unfortunately, that hope became reality. Why do you say unfortunately? The young man doesn't look at her, keeps his eyes steady on the flame, his expression neutral. I've been told that my adoptive father's name and mine are now etched into that hall, she answers with a bitter smile. Can't say if it was meant as a joke or an insult, but I know that I'll never have this chance to see it with my own eyes. Will our past honors be preserved? Will I bring shame to my parents' legacy? They called us traitors. She shakes her head, looking at the old man, but he remains motionless. We are nothing more than driftwood carried on the current. He repeats his earlier words. The crackling firelight dances over his face. This is your story. It's part of my story. Fate has treated me well. He took one family from me, then gave me another, like those 2 letters. The Admiral took in other orphans like me, bringing them under his command. At the Arms Academy or at his camp, as his daughter, I was given authority over the youngest adoptees. Is that how she... I wonder which one... Did she adopt Lopera? Or did Igor? I mean, I'm assuming Lopera's adopted too, right? Better times they should have still been in their parents' arms, not fighting in some cold, barren field being corralled and commanded to obey. My granddaughter was the same way when she was a child. A wild little fowl, always so stubborn and fierce. I thought she'd be as gentle as she looks. She laughed softly and bitterly before she returned to the topic. Not long after, my father just brought a few boys to join us. They were close as cubs raised in the same den. But years passed and the young cubs fell until only Ptolemy was left. War took his brothers, and along with them and I became cold and cruel after that, twisted by one mission after another. 10 set out, and only 3 returned. Damn, what the heck? 10? Holy moly. If he were numb to it all, he'd have learned to disregard death to the point where his own life would mean nothing, and he'd become a fugitive. And if he wasn't, every one of their deaths turned that anger further inward, and each turn made him that much more ruthless. And I can't blame him because I know what molded him. Even so, I know his sins cannot be washed away. The words can't come out calm without condemnation. But you still see him as your family. Family, always the same as these boys. The lieutenant tilts her head with a half-hearted smile as she gestures toward the other side with the fire. A few of the soldiers spot their sister and wave from afar, holding half a roasted lamb leg. Just hope that this time they'll get to live, not just survive. But they're hungry for battle. Many of them think it'll be like hunting rabbits on the steppe. But in war, the hunters and the hunted are one and the same. All they know of death and sacrifice comes from stories or propaganda. A trace of disgust flickers across her face. I hope that it will all be as easy as you think, winning honor and glory. She sighs. Honor and glory. The words glimmer like 2 metals soaked in blood. So, you see these soldiers as your family? Yes. They are all my brothers. I also have sisters. I also have a sister. And your sister? What kind of person did she turn out to be? She's still the same stubborn little girl. Luckier than Ptolemy. 2 emotions come across her face and battle beneath the surface, nostalgia and regret. I'm not gonna lie, I am excited to see when they bring back Lopera into the story. I mean, they hinted at, like, at the end of the main story, spoiler alert for those that did not finish the main story yet, but yeah, like, Burton was talking with Igor, you know, and she was bringing up, like, how life was and, like, how Lopera's doing at the Foundation. So it's like, you know, I would like to see her come back in the story. I'm trying to, like, fix my chair. Hold on. Man, I really need a new chair. Two emotions cross her face and battle beneath the surface, nostalgia and regret. Last time I saw her, we had raised our guns toward one another. Yeah, they did. To be continued. Metal. Golden Peaches. I used to call her Para. Aw, Para. Lopera. There wasn't any trick to the name. It was short and simple. First, press your lips together, then part them, and gently drop your tongue toward your chin. It sounds light. Floral, maybe, like the frail creature I saw when I met her. You see, like, the story is super good still. Like, I'm picturing everything, and it's, like, literally like a film reel in my head. Like, it's literally like a movie. The presentation, it's literally like a light novel that we're reading now. It sounds light, floral, maybe. like the frail creature I saw when I met her. An unripe orange fallen to the ground too soon. Do oranges grow around here? She asked the old man, who gently shakes his head. Right, I've never seen an orange back home either. She asks herself a question and answers it. Tartar than grapes, sweeter than plums. Xena Arms Academy. A runaway child. Father brought her in. Oh, okay, so Igor brought her in then. Father brought her in, and we couldn't help but be curious about the little girl with her orange hair. Ptolemy sized her up with his one good eye. I remember the first thing he said to her, "You're shorter than I expected." She mimics her brother's tone as she speaks. Lopera walked right up to him, stood up on her tiptoes, and pulled him down by the collar. "Call me short again? I dare you." And just like that, we were all laughing. Ptolemy could still laugh back then, but not Father. Even then, he stood there, solid as stone. I could see him watching her with that cold, calculated gaze, studying her, waiting for her next move. I know what he must have been thinking. Most fathers would feel the same. Ptolemy naturally couldn't help but meet the challenge. He went down a list of words, runt, shrimp, short stuff, as if he had them prepared. He'd always had a cruel sense of humor. Father and I simply sat back and waited for what would happen next. Besides, reliving these memories has been a welcome rest for her exhaustion and mental strain. For months, she hasn't had a moment's rest, working to keep her people together, backing her father, and at times, fretting over the sister who chose a different path. She practically leaped as she yanked down on his collar. Ptolemy tumbled over her shoulder like a sack of oats. I can still remember that stunned look on his face. I can still remember the stunned look on his face staring up at the sky. Then we all turned to Father. I already knew what we would see. It's the same nearly imperceptible smile he gave any of us when he was pleased. Ptolemy was furious. He pulled her down into mud, right along with him. The training grounds were always muddy, even on sunny days. I think that was by design. He tried to pull them apart, yelled at them to stop, but Ptolemy had long since stopped listening to me, and Lopera, I'm not sure she ever did. There was nothing I could do. She says it with a smile. Eventually, I managed to grab a hold of my new sister like grabbing an orange, and pulled her out from the muck. Ptolemy reached for her, but I stood in his way. I told him he needed to cool off. That was their first fight. Certainly not the last. I'm sure those two fought more than anyone else. All recipients fought. Father encouraged it. He believed it made us tougher, more resilient. Sometimes that was true. The old man nods, as if in agreement. I taught her how to hold a gun. I also taught her how to ride, how to match the horse's rhythm, and how to aim while on a horseback. Happy memories flood to the surface, playing out like a movie, lit by the flickering flames. That's how things were, the good and the bad. But things change. The sun has long since set, and a clear, starry sky has replaced it. The chill mountain air creeps up from the darkness, making the bonfire's heat feel all the more precious. She shifts her gaze up from the fire to the moon. A familiar sight in an unfamiliar time. They come from somewhere very far away. She tells her story. But no matter where we go, the moon is the same. When I was young, I would often sit with my grandmother and watch it hung above the sky. Later, whenever we weren't on patrol or training late, my sister and I would do the same. I remember once when she was still young, she ran up to me, tugging at my sleeve, saying, "Molly, I've got something to show you." She pulled me up from my desk and dragged me outside. I followed her to the courtyard, and there was that pale moon. She stood beside me, looking up at it. Lieutenant lets her head fall back, looking up at the dark and starry sky. "You loved her?" "Yes, I did. She was free to follow her own sense of right and wrong, and to choose a different path. That's who she is, and that's how it should be. I wonder if she still looks up in the sky and thinks of me." She closes her eyes. "I told her once, we're soldiers. Goodbye is a luxury in our profession." Yeah, that honestly is true. You know? Ptolemy understood that all too well, and so did the other soldiers. Although Para never seemed to take it seriously. She thought of it... Never seemed to take it seriously. She thought of it like a game. She hesitates. It wasn't. She casts a glance at the soldiers, singing and dancing with the villagers. Oh, nice. We got Lopera's. Not Lopera, Moldir's 5-star anecdote. Or a 5-star Psycube. Oh my god, I can't even think. Kara is a plant character. A plant character? After they cast a rank 3 incantation, all allies gain the incantation might plus 6 for 3 rounds. Kara is a beast character. After they cast an ultimate, all allies gain ultimate might. I like that it's universal. All allies, regardless if you have a plant character or a beast character. That sounds pretty sick. Equilibrium Umbrella. Military camp outside the ancient city of Akanum. Most of them have never shot at anything that could shoot back. Rabbits, birds, deer, maybe a wolf or a bear. A hunter is not a soldier just because he can fire a rifle. No more than climbing on a horse makes you a knight. The old man nods in firm agreement. You speak truly. To be a soldier is to be both the best and the worst of humanity. I still remember their names. Her voice trails off. After taking 2 deep breaths, she begins again, reciting the names as if they were a solemn vow. Marshall? Who was up? Who the heck's... a fallen Xeno soldier killed in action at 19 years of age in the southern foothills of the how do you pronounce this? Caucasus? On April 14th, 1966. It was always better with a sword than a gun. Whitewood. Fallen Xeno soldier lost at sea at... Aw, that sucks. 20 years of age after the Cape of Good Hope shipwreck on October 23rd, 1913. Who took better care of his books than his rifle, and Vasilissa with her falcon. Fallen Xeno soldier killed in action at 22 years of age in the southern Balkans on November 25th, 1912. Their names linger as ghostly wisps in the night air. Lopera and I were supposed to go out on a mission. It was her first opportunity to witness a battlefield firsthand. But just before we left, Father decided to leave the 2 of us behind. I still don't understand why. I remember how disappointed she was. Lopera screamed in the middle of the station, demanding to know why she couldn't go to the front. The fall was colder than usual, and it was already snowing. I could still picture those white flakes that dotted her orange hair. She yelled and protested. All the soldiers turned to look at us. So many familiar faces. I thought perhaps the message meant that the war was ending, that we weren't needed there. But that was the last time I saw many of those faces. Some of them I once called siblings too. They went to war. We went home. Those were Father's orders. She lowers her head. It wasn't long after that we received the first of the remains. Para dug the graves herself. It was snowing that day too. She feels a chill run down her spine, one that doesn't belong to the cold air around her, but to that distant memory. Fate brought me to my father, and then, one after another, brought others to our side. They would come and go, live and die. Then more would come, orphans created by and for war. Exhaustion lingers in her voice. War forces us to grow, to adapt to our conditions, to the brutality around us. It's not right to say grow. We survive. Those that adapt survive. She bites down on her lower lip, her brow furrowing. My sister has been on many missions, but I don't know if she's ever seen that side of war for herself. I never got the chance to ask, I never wanted to. She opens her hands. I hope not. I hope in some way she never has to adapt to the cruelties that I have. The brutal calculus of command. She's suited to what she does. She isn't meant for the front lines. The old man pulls an almond from his sleeve and hands it to her. Thank you. Lieutenant takes it, her face scrunching involuntarily, anticipating the oncoming tartness. And what was it that changed you? Battle that wasn't worth remembering. When I shot a man I didn't know. Historical battlefield. Years ago, the Admiral brought his daughter to the battlefield. They flew in during the final days of the war. She was still being trained as an officer. From the window of their plane, she could see husks of concrete buildings jut out like bones over the scarred landscape. It was her first real taste of the battle. An onslaught, an assault on a fortified position. We secured the street. We had tanks then, large armored vehicles with cannons. She explains for the man, though perhaps even the notion of a motor vehicle might elude him. The tanks are no use in taking a building. I led the troops in. I think we had reached the 3rd or 4th floor of the opposition. Then I heard a voice. A man speaking a language I didn't know. I turned to see a stranger. It didn't take long before he saw me too. I reached for my gun. He raised his. Lieutenant taps her thumb on her chest, signaling with a small gesture. The young man nods in understanding. His wrinkled thumb turning the lapis lazuli beads on his wrist. I reacted on instinct, polished training. It was over in a single shot. She sighs. Then I don't know why, but I crumpled to the ground and lay there. My mind went blank. My comrades came running over. They thought I had been hit. Her hand trembles on her chest. The moment replays itself in her mind. They told me I was crying and throwing up as they dragged me out to safety. All that training and all that was expected of me, honor and glory, a martyr's death. But I only killed that man because I was afraid to die myself. I couldn't escape the look on his face as I shot him. For a long time after, yeah, but he grabbed his gun too, right? Did he not? Yeah, he raised his gun. Yeah, she was gonna die. Or get shot. For a long time after, even in training, if I heard a gunshot, I would feel sick to my stomach. Until one day it changed. That sickness in my stomach just went away. Or maybe I learned to live with it. The young man stops twisting the beads with his finger. The fire twinkles back at her in the bright blue reflection. It is a feeling of all soldiers must learn to live with. Military camp outside of the ancient city of Iconum. 2020. Military camp. It's getting late. Appreciate you listening to me, sir. You're my guest. The lieutenant nods respectfully. The music has picked up again, a familiar song that brings a wave of cheers from the nearby revelers. Smoke rises up into the night sky before fading into the canopy of stars. May I ask that young lady over there if I can borrow the dombra? Of course. Raises his hands and claps. Musician, noticing the gesture, stops playing and walks over with the instrument in hand. The young commander wishes to perform a song for us? The old man calls out to the people in the yard. Please, I didn't mean to stop everything on my account. That suddenly feels as if I'm about to embarrass myself. She takes the instrument, testing the sound, like reacquainting with an old friend. Our soldiers gather around, eager to join in. Curious villagers trail behind, edging closer to the honored guest. You're gonna play a song, Lieutenant?
That's right.
That's right. I thought I might show you all that I can relax too. She sits down with the instrument, facing the bonfire and the people waiting by it, and begins to play. Her voice, initially soft, rises into a clear and bright song, a memory of her homeland. Oh, golden summer, you've lingered too long. We lift our cups to the dwindling days. She plays, several voices join in harmony, following and stumbling over the words. To salute the sun as it sinks away. Oh, golden years of youth, how fast you've gone. For cold winter's breath will find us in the dawn, reminding us to savor our days in the warmth of the sun. So live and love while the night is young. She stood up without ever realizing it, losing herself in her song, as if she were lifted from time and space entirely. Alright, that's enough for now. She waves away the cheers of the crowd and promptly returns the dombra. It's been so long since I last played, I'd almost forgotten how. She offers a self-deprecating chuckle, shaking her head as her voice fades away. Go on and enjoy yourselves. At this rate, the crowd breaks out in laughter and then begins to follow the musician as they resume the previous melody. As the crowd disperses, the young man approaches again. Do you think about her often? Yes, often. Lieutenant loses herself in thought, reflecting on the past until after a long pause, she speaks. So I'm assuming the ending, to get ending 2, you need to have like all the things like perfectly, all the choices. I'm assuming it's going to make me go to like each specific chapter, and all the choices, it has to be on the correct one to get ending 2. I think if you have like any one of them wrong, it's gonna just give you ending 1, is what I guess. When she joined us, things were a lot like this. We danced, we celebrated, and I remember playing a song for them as well. She's always been a fighter from the moment we met. There's a difference between that and a soldier. Looks like there's a difference between us. So she was always going to grow up. My sister isn't the kind to feel helpless. She won't cry herself to sleep if I'm not there with her. She's a Xeno soldier. The lieutenant trusts the words, her gaze firm. She made that choice for herself. We tried to force her down a path she couldn't follow. Sometimes I wonder if I had just explained things to her from the beginning, if I had said the right words, would she have chosen differently? Her tone is wistful. It catches her off guard to have let something so naive slip out. I don't know. She shakes her head. It wasn't that she didn't know. It's that she knew there was no answer. She always lived according to her own rules, her own conscience, and I would never take that from her. Bitterness holds on her tongue, as tart as the old man's almonds. Her sister's image feels faint and distant. She can't even recall the sound of her voice. What comes to her mind, instead, is a thundering rattle of gunfire. A sweltering afternoon, thick, humid air that clings to her skin, mixing with beads of sweat. She guides her sister's hand, telling her to aim at the target and not hesitate when pulling the trigger. Decisive and resolute. Just like her dice game, she could lose every time and never regret it, no matter how badly she lost. Perhaps while I was away, she really grew up. Tap on the letter. You got ending 1. I'm assuming. Military camp outside the ancient city of Iconum. A brief message is placed on the lieutenant's desk. November 11th, 1920. Ceasefire on the Western Front. Your forces remain stationed in Iconum. Recruit, prepare, and await further orders. Their war is over, but mine isn't. She opens the window facing out toward the snow-covered mountains as they glimmer in the morning light. From a distance, she can see her new recruits. Young people from the village leading their horses to the river after their morning patrol. She idly twists a medal in her hand, a mark of battle or a reward for her service. It was one of a kind, a gift for the world's #1 sister. I hope I'll see her somewhere on the Eastern Front. I hope she isn't anywhere near the Eastern Front. I hope she isn't anywhere near. She'd be better off staying away from this war. In fact, I pray we never see her at all. Father won't show any mercy. Crunches the metal, the cold metal carrying a warmth that's hers and hers alone. She wouldn't either. Picks up her rifle and turns to head outside. Her troops are waiting for her. Crisp fall air fills the sky outside, clear and boundless, illuminated with the rising sun. Interrogation room, St. Pavlov Foundation. Wow, that went from... Damn, that went from to a location, huh? 2 different environments. Meanwhile, on the other side, she's nearing the end of a long interrogation, the final round. I've got nothing more to say. Lopera! They're traitors, and he's gone. I don't know who's running their little rebellion now. It's Igor. He's alive. Our intelligence is certain of it.
Yeah, and?
What about Moldir? We haven't heard anything about her. Ever thought about going to the Eastern Front, soldier? She holds her silence for a long time. I'll go wherever I'm ordered to go. The blinds of the interrogation room are pulled open and the dazzling light of day floods in. On this late fall afternoon, the sunlight slants into the cold, bare room. Lopera stands by the window, lifting a hand to shield her eyes as she squints toward the world outside. You said earlier that the storm has changed the era again. Yes, we're back in 1920, 71 years before the last reversion. Wow. Only for some reason, the Great War isn't over. The timeline as we once knew it has changed. War goes on. Lopera doesn't say anything further, her face tangled with emotions as she looks out toward an unreachable horizon. In the daylight, somewhere far across the world, the woman she worries for rides beneath the mountains, holding her reins in a firm grip. Valley outside of the ancient city of Iconum. Fall in! The lieutenant's command cuts through the air. The valley's edge, her soldiers wait fully armed. The troop falls into a formation, silently waiting for her whatever order comes next. Forward. Oh shit! What ending did I... Oh, I got ending 2! Wait a minute, how do you get ending 1? Oh, okay, well, the other thing's not gonna help me. I don't know how to get ending 1 then. uh, how the heck? I could try it. Let me see. How do I... What? How do I... Review? This indicates the chapter has branch options that may lead to different endings. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try to put the different things and see. Let's see if I could skip Xena Soldier. Skip. I'm just gonna do all the opposite stuff I did before. A courtyard in the pouring rain. Welcome back though, dude. Let me see, I still don't understand why. I remember she was disappointed. Skip. Now and then. I hope I'll see her in the Eastern Front. Did I just not even get the thingy? Hold on. Enzo. Okay, hold on, give me one moment. Let's see if I can figure out how to get ending 1. I don't know how to get it. Oh, I got it. Okay, well, it counted. Well, it didn't really show anything, but... Okay. Well, that's cool. I didn't think I was gonna get ending 2 on the first thingy. That was pretty badass. Well, anyway, that was Moldir's Anecdote. Again, like I said, it doesn't... Presentation-wise, it's just a light novel now, the way they're doing them. But... Downstairs, dog. It's just a light novel now. But, yeah, regardless, that is it for the story. The story itself is really good. I actually really enjoyed it. Her, like, reminiscing about, you know, her life, her past, being, you know, adopted and everything. Her original biological parents. Talking about Lopera, Ptolemy, like Ptolemy fighting with Lopera. Just... Yeah, it was all just good. I liked it. I could envision it all in my head like a movie. It's just... I wish I could see that. Like, the actual present, you know... Just, I wish the presentation was better, like the old days. Like the old ones. Or the old anecdotes. Or the cinema anecdotes. But yeah, that is gonna do it. Let me know if you guys chilling and hanging out, getting this far in the video. If you guys are getting this far in the stream or video with me, it means a lot. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the anecdote. What did you guys think of it? But yeah, if I would rate it right now, I think first thing comes to mind is like a solid 8, including presentation and the story. I mean, I liked it. I think the story was really good. I'm gonna leave it at an 8. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I definitely think it had, you know, if it was the other way around, with presentation, I probably would give it like a 9 for an anecdote. I don't think I could go higher than that right now with the new ones. But yeah, I give it an 8. Those are my thoughts and opinions, and I will catch you guys on another one. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. If you guys got this far, it means a lot. But yeah, that's gonna do it. You guys have a good one, and I'll catch you guys on another one. Laters, 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 laters.